What is this? What am I seeing here? Am I seeing a former deacon at Woke United Methodist openly telling the truth? Am I seeing a former member of the woke media rightfully criticize his former colleagues? I cannot believe I'm saying this, and after you guys see this clip, I bet you'll be saying the same thing. I actually agree with Chris Cuomo. Hey, it's me, Chrissy C. I am going to do something that I don't think I have ever done in my 3 or so years of doing YouTube full time. I am going to give Chris Cuomo credit. A couple of years ago, after his woke welfare expired after being fired by CNN because he refused to tarnish the reputation of his brother Andy. Well, KC, are you talking about Andy Cooper? No, I'm talking about Andy Cuomo, the former chancellor of New York who was praised by the mainstream media for the huge embarrassing failure known as his response to the COVID. When Chris Cuomo was promoting himself as the free agent, you guys remember that? When he was promoting himself as the free agent, he promised that we were going to see a new and improved Chrissy C. The days of lies and propaganda were over. The days of reciting the directives from deacons at Woke United Methodist, those days were long gone. Chris Cuomo promised his viewers, also known as the Cuomo family because no one watches his show, Chris Cuomo promised his family that he was unleashing the truth. Going forward, he was going to unleash the truth like he unleashes his shirt when taking shirtless selfies. Now, even though it took him 2 or 3 years to do this, earlier this week, Chris Cuomo finally followed through on his promise to tell the truth. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you happen to stumble across this video, be sure to check out my main channel, Behind the Line. If you search Behind the Line here on YouTube, it'll be the first channel that comes up. You can't miss it. You know, it is rare that I am disgusted by the mainstream media, and it's not because the media fails to do things that qualify for disgust. The mainstream media has become so worthless, they are so consistently repulsive that they are not even worthy of my disgust. But throughout the week this week, I have been absolutely appalled with what I am seeing from the mainstream media. Their response to the latest attack on Donald Trump, it has been nothing short of evil. I'm just going to say it. A lot of these people are evil. The unemployed Don Lemon, he is blaming the Trumper for his own attack. The Yentas on The View, they are making jokes, and I'm not talking about the show itself being a joke. I'm talking about the Yentas farting with their mouth instead of with their boodle and reciting prepared lines meant to elicit laughter from their audience of lonely women. It is abundantly clear at this point the mainstream media has no shame. It is abundantly clear that to them, the ends justify the means. They do not care what happens to Donald Trump, and they damn sure don't care about what happens to you and me. The only thing the media seems to care about is getting Cam Harris elected by any means necessary. The number one enemy to this country, it's not China, it's not Vlad Putin and Mother Russia, it's not North Korea. The number one enemy to freedom in America is the shit fucks in the mainstream media. Donald Trump says this all the time, and he is 100% right. They are not coming after him. He just so happens to be standing in the way defending you and me. We are the ones who the media perceives as the real enemy. Apparently, I am not the only one disgusted with the media. Earlier this week, Chris Cuomo, he delivered a passionate lecture to his former friends and deacons at Woke United Methodist. Not only did he publicly apologize to the Trumper, he also called out his former butt bongo partner, Donnie Lemon. He didn't call him out by name, but as you're about to see, he was definitely talking about Donnie. This speech given by Chris Cuomo, it was so good, it almost makes me want to stop making fun of him. Now, of course, I probably won't, but instead of making fun of him in brutal fashion going forward, my jokes about Chris Cuomo, they might be coming from a friendlier place. Watch it for yourself.
That's why I reached out to Trump. I wanted to just say, listen, I'm really sorry that this is going on and it's being dealt with this way. Not because I'm in favor of his politics or what he says. I criticize him all the time. That's my job, and he deserves it. But he doesn't deserve this. A guy pointing an AK-47 at him while he's playing golf? And we take solace in the fact that the guy didn't get any rounds off. Got kids, they're adults, but he's got grandkids. He's got a wife. People giving crap to Melania Trump, worrying about whether or not there was a plot around his husband. How could she not? And then her husband has a guy pointed with an AK-47. Where are those people apologizing? That's what it's time for. We are playing a dangerous game with ourselves.
Now look, is it possible that this was a performance? Is it possible that Chris Cuomo is trying to appeal to normal people in an attempt to boost ratings on his struggling program at News Nation? Sure. But I'm going to be honest with you. I believe him. I believe he is sincere, and I'll tell you why. When you're in the mainstream media, you are living in this confined bubble where everyone thinks the same. No matter your beliefs, no matter your upbringing, you slowly end up becoming who you are surrounded with. When Chris Cuomo was at CNN, he was just another propagandist. But it's been 2, maybe even 3 years now that he has been outside of that filthy media bubble. What probably ends up happening over that time, you return to normalcy. You get back in touch with normal people, average Americans. I have been keeping up with Chris Cuomo since he was fired by CNN. I have seen a drastic difference in Chris Cuomo from his premiere episode on News Nation to the Chris Cuomo that we see today. Now, does that mean I trust him? Absolutely not. But it's the same thing that I mentioned earlier this week with Bill O'Reilly. When he was working at Fox News, Bill O'Reilly was constantly criticizing Barry the Obama. Now that he has been away from the mainstream for 6 or 7 years, now that he is out of the bubble, Bill O'Reilly, all of a sudden, he is highly complimentary of Barack Obama. Every single one of these networks has an agenda. Whether it's Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, they all have their own agenda. Maybe one of the reasons that Tucker Carlson was fired by Fox News is because he refused to conform to that agenda. I don't know. What I do know is we have seen multiple examples of former hosts in primetime cable news shifting directions once they have spent years outside of the mainstream. What we are seeing now with Chris Cuomo is a prime example. But maybe it's me. Maybe I am naive. Maybe this was all a performance by Chrissy C. But I am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt for now. What about you? Do you think Chris Cuomo is sincere with his disgust of the mainstream media and his apology to the Trumper? Do you believe him? Or do you think it's all a performance? Was this a desperate attempt to appeal to a conservative audience since he was betrayed by the wanker spankers? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the main channel.